Greetings. I was just thinking, what would make a really interesting documentary would be a comparative study of two modern figures, Stephen Miller and Bibi Netanyahu. That's right, that'd be really interesting. You know, Bibi is really American a lot. I mean, he grew up in America. It was like Philly, New York, or something like that. Anyway, he's dual, citizenship. He went back, he went to Israel, became the head of the Likud party, and was very violently, publicly opposed to Itzhak Rabin and all the plans for peace with the Palestinians and the legitimization of the Palestinian, the PLA. But that was that was not a very popular position with a lot of Jewish Israeli citizens at the time were very vocally opposed to the extreme right-wing elements. There were the whole Knesset, the Israeli parliament, was pretty right-wing. There wasn't very much left-leaning representation in the whole entire body politic. And Likud was considered kind of moderate. They weren't far right, but Benjamin Netanyahu, if you study his rhetoric, what the documentary could bring out are these samples of his rhetoric from when he first kind of just starts to launch himself as a political person. His whole modus operandi is kind of vilifying Palestinians and going with the extreme Zionist agenda. And also predicting that Iran is going to have nuclear. Like he's just doing that from the beginning and setting up Iran as this enemy for the United States to fight. This is continuous, and that can be shown in the documentary. The style of vilification, calling people Amalek, this kind of thing, being petty, being I hate to say it, but like a little Napoleon. Yep. And then you got Stephen Miller. He's this man from Santa Monica, California, who kind of goes right-wing college Republican style and decides that's a good look for him and just goes with that. But he's a petty authoritarian for sure. And it's horrible that he got brought into Trump cabinet. Horrible. He would be a good figure to focus on, Stephen Miller. He's the one, he has been pushing ICE tactics a lot, specifically unidentified masked men kind of getting a head count. This comes from the White House, these head counts, they want to get a certain number every day, It's crazy. You don't go about law enforcement that way. Law enforcement, you respond to the reality of the situation. If there's no illegals at the airport, well, then you don't arrest anybody. If there's 100, well, then you arrest 100. You respond to the situation. You don't set up a head count at the beginning. We're going to go to this airport and just pull fucking 1,000 heads out of here. Head count, That's how the ICE is operating, and that comes from Stephen Miller. That comes from the White House now, but Stephen Miller. And the documentary could show that. I don't have the time. I'm working. Please, someone steal this documentary. Steal all my ideas. Write that novel. I don't know. I need to get busy. I need to follow through on something. I have all these great ideas. I really like the virus video thing. The people doing research on the space station. They're trying to, continue with the NIH gain of function research. Not only that, they're doing it for like different clients now. It's evolved. It's a privatized, multinational clients funding research on space stations into deadly viruses. And so they're trying to gain up a virus in their little lab, and but they make this mistake. They have their observation mode when they can like look out at nice space, and there's relatively low risk for their observation station, the orbiting lab, orbiting space lab, and observation station. But they have it. They have the kind of external wall open and just observation glass pointed at directly at the sun, and they're busy working on in the lab, and nobody's thinking about it. But there's actually a big solar ejection, and plasma particles, charged particles, hit all around their observation station and blast whatever can penetrate the UV protective barriers of the space station glass. Somehow it's enough, though. They're out there and they actually have the viral samples out. They're working on them when this event happens, and the viral samples get exposed to the sun blast and start to change. And over time, it's where it goes Hollywood. But they keep coming back to the lab and having different thoughts and seeing different, like the viruses are creating structures now. They're taking things that are in their environment and creating structures, and they're connecting their neural pathways together in different ways, and they've started to morph, and the scientists have decided they've gotten the word, just kind of let it happen, and it's amazing. And but anyway, this ends up creating kind of a change in consciousness for the humans. They realize their oneness with each other, and stops the major third world war that's taking off, and that's kind of cool. And the way the viruses communicate too, they start doing stuff like using magnetic energy, and since there's so much solar activity coming towards the earth, they start using the aurora borealis and making coded images onto these light cascades of light, aurora borealises that are coming down towards the earth. Other interesting things they do this image montage in people's minds. And they kind of have Earth, humans evolving, and different stages of history, and then kind of what they're in now and the choice they're making, and then like a nuclear cloud destruction. But then they also have another scenario where the people get together and talk and realize the oneness consciousness and save themselves, save the earth, protect their water, do stuff, and usher in a new period of like local food abundance and community awareness and beautiful human awareness, kind of primitive future beauty of goodness. So anyway, that's all those ideas for today. Y'all have a good one. Good documentary there could be made featuring Stephen Miller and Bibi Netanyahu comparisons and their impacts on the modern world now. That'd be awesome. And also a Hollywood feature about viruses morphing and becoming the opposite of what they're intended for. Instead of being weaponized and controlled, they break out of that somehow. Sunbeam beauty, and turn into a consciousness raising saviors of the planet and their host, the humans.